Today, we are diving into a sport that's basically a high-speed chess match on snow. It's called ski orienteering, and believe me, it mashes up the grueling endurance of cross-country skiing with the brain-melting challenge of navigating a frozen wilderness, all against the clock. So what is ski orienteering, really? Well, to get it, you've got to picture two totally different skills just colliding at full throttle. Okay, imagine this. You're gliding through a totally silent snow-covered forest on skis. Your heart is just pounding. But here's the thing. You're not just following some marked path. Nope. You're in a race, trying to find your way through a crazy web of trails with nothing but a map. That right there, that's the heart of the challenge. At its core, ski orienteering is an endurance race. The goal sounds pretty simple, right? Just find a bunch of checkpoints or control points and get to the finish line faster than everyone else. But, the reality is so much harder. This sport really does have two sides to it. On the one hand, you need the raw, physical power of a world-class cross-country skier. But on the other, you need the strategic mind of a grandmaster, making these split-second decisions about which route is fastest. And you absolutely cannot win with just one of those skills. So how does a race actually go down? Let's kind of follow an athlete from the very second the race begins. It all kicks off the moment they get that map. From that second on, they are analyzing, planning, and skiing their route. They have to decide on the fly, is the shorter, steeper path faster, or should I take the longer, flatter one? Then they navigate from point to point in the right order, punching an electronic card at each one to prove they've been there. And the last step, just an all-out sprint to the finish. Think about that for a second. This quote really puts the pressure into perspective. We're not talking about one or two big decisions here. We're talking about a constant stream of them. One tiny moment of hesitation, a single wrong turn, and that can be the difference between winning a gold medal and going home with nothing. It's intense. All right, so what kind of gear do you even need to compete in a sport this demanding? Let's check out the essentials. So a lot of the gear is what you probably expect for cross-country skiing. The skis, poles, boots, a suit. But then you get to the really specialized stuff. The map is obviously crucial, and so is that electronic timing card. But there's one piece of gear that is totally unique to this sport. And that is the map holder. It literally straps right onto the athlete's chest. So why do they do that? Well, you can't exactly stop to read your map when you're racing for a world title. This thing is a brilliant invention. It lets them just glance down, read the terrain, make a decision, and never, ever break their stride. It's like the command center for the entire race, right there on their chest. And make no mistake, this is not just some niche hobby. Ski orienteering is a serious worldwide sport. So let's take a look at the competition on the global stage. Yeah, ski orienteering has a really dedicated following all over the world, from the classic snowy forests of Scandinavia to the mountains in Asia and North America. It's a sport that just thrives anywhere you can find snow and a real thirst for adventure. The whole competitive year is pretty much built around two huge events. Every other year, you've got the World Championships. That's a single, high-stakes event to crown the best of the best. And then every single year, there's the World Cup Series, which tracks performance over a bunch of races to see who the most consistent, top-level athlete is for the whole season. So, who are the best in the world at this? Well, when you start looking at the rankings, a really clear pattern emerges. The Scandinavian nations, we're talking Norway, Finland, and Sweden, they are absolute powerhouses, just consistently producing the world's top talent. And leading the pack for the men is Norway's own Jørgen Baklid. As of early 2025, he is sitting at the very top of the world rankings with an incredible 6,610 points. And it's a pretty similar story on the women's side. Fellow Norwegian Anna Ulven holds that number one spot with 6,513 points, really cementing her country's dominance in the sport. Now, let's see how those leaders fit into the bigger picture. So here are the top 5 men. And yeah, while Norway's Jørgen Baklid is on top, you can see it's an international field. You've got top athletes from places like Switzerland and Bulgaria really challenging that Scandinavian stronghold. And now let's look at the top 5 women. Again, while Norway has that number one spot, you can see it's a fiercely competitive field. You've got athletes from Sweden, Estonia, and Finland all fighting for a spot on that podium. Okay, so all of this brings us to a final and pretty crucial question. What's next for ski orienteering? Where does a sport this demanding and this exciting go from here?
Well, its profile is definitely growing. There's no doubt about that. Ski orienteering is already a medal sport at several major international events, like the Asian Winter Games and the World Military Winter Games. So it has absolutely proven it belongs on the big stage. So, what's the big takeaway here? Ski orienteering is a legit, globally recognized sport that tests the absolute limits of human endurance and intelligence. It has world champions, a dedicated global following, and it's already part of major international games. So, really, the only question left to ask is this: will we one day see these incredible athletes racing for gold on the world's biggest stage, the Winter Olympics?